That deli counter is lying to you. Most deli meat is not meat. It is a formed, injected, chemically preserved loaf designed to look like meat. Here's exactly what to skip and what to actually buy. We are counting down 5 of the worst offenders, then revealing 3 that are actually real meat. Starting at number 5 with a product the USDA literally defines as ground unrecognizable. In the 5th place, bologna sets the gold standard for ultra-processed deli meat. By law, the USDA defines bologna as ground unrecognizable, a product so finely pulverized that no trace of real muscle or cut remains. This is not just a matter of texture. The Federal Register's 1979 ruling allows up to 20% mechanically separated meat, a slurry blasted off bones with water jets and pressed into a paste. What lands in the package is a chemical cocktail. Oscar Mayer's classic bologna lists beef, pork, water, salt, dextrose, corn syrup solids, sodium phosphates, sodium nitrite, and a parade of additives, BHA, BHT, caramel color, and red 40. These synthetic antioxidants, once reserved for industrial lubricants, now keep your lunch pink and shelf-stable. Caramel color and red 40 mask the gray of overworked meat, while phosphates bind water for a springy, uniform bite. There is no visible grain, no natural fiber, just a smooth engineered slice that is as far from a real cut of meat as the label will legally allow. Number 4, mass-market salami is where the phosphate flood really begins. Those familiar speckled slices lining the supermarket fridge owe their springy chew to a behind-the-scenes chemistry experiment. Instead of relying on traditional air drying or slow curing, manufacturers pump out salami loaves by blending pork, beef, water, and a generous dose of sodium phosphates, often hitting 0.5%, the FDA's legal ceiling. These phosphates act like a sponge, binding extra water deep into the meat paste and inflating the final yield. Between 2005 and 2020, phosphate usage in deli salami spiked as processors raced to cut costs and boost sliceability. Patent filings like Screw Press Design 4,987,123 detail how this emulsion gets forced through industrial machinery, mixing in corn syrup and dextrose to lock in moisture. The result? That moist, bouncy texture found in generic store-brand salami isn't a mark of freshness. It's the handiwork of moisture binders and sweetener emulsifiers. The ingredient list is a roll call of water, salt, dextrose, sodium nitrite, and almost always sodium phosphates. Unlike bologna's parade of colors and antioxidants, salami keeps its look simple but leans heavily on chemistry to hold everything together. For anyone expecting old-world sausage, what you're actually getting is a water-boosted, phosphate-laden science project in every slice. Number 3, pepperoni delivers a double shot of chemical preservation that would make a chemistry teacher blush. The classic slice, whether it is the budget pork round or the infamous Armour turkey pepperoni, relies on a 1-2 punch of sodium nitrite and synthetic antioxidants BHA and BHT. These 2 preservatives, once reserved for jet fuel and industrial lubricants, are now FDA approved at up to 0.02% of the finished product. That might sound tiny, but it is enough to keep pepperoni shelf stable for months and bright red even after a cross-country truck ride. The trouble starts in the oven. When nitrite and BHA and BHT meet high heat, they can form nitrosamines, compounds flagged by cancer researchers since the 1970s. Rodent studies have linked chronic BHA exposure to tumor growth, prompting the World Health Organization to classify it as a possible human carcinogen. Dextrose sweetener sneaks in for flavor, but it is the chemical preservative load that sets pepperoni apart. While some brands have quietly dropped BHA and BHT, many mass-market labels still list both right beside nitrite on the back panel. For anyone who thinks pepperoni is just spicy sausage, the ingredient list tells a different story, one that is more chemistry lab than butcher shop. Number 2, water-added ham is the deli case's most legal form of economic sleight of hand. Since the USDA's 1982 ruling, ham labeled water-added can legally contain up to 10% extra water by weight, measured by gravimetric testing, not just what's injected but what stays locked in after processing. That means you're paying deli prices for water, not pork. Ingredient panels tell the story. Pork, water, often listed second, followed by salt, sodium nitrite, and sometimes honey or smoke flavor to distract from the dilution. The honey ham label is especially slippery as a drizzle of sweetener masks the watery texture and blandness that comes from too much moisture. In 2023, a Truth in Food audit found that 41% of sampled hams exceeded the legal water limit while still using the water-added tag. This loophole isn't about safety or flavor, it's about inflating weight and profit, all while the consumer foots the bill. If the label reads ham and water product, there's no upper limit at all. With water as a main ingredient and nitrite to hold the pink color, these hams are engineered to look like the real thing, but deliver far less value. The simple math: you pay for pork, you often get water. Watch for the fine print, and know that when it comes to deli ham, the law is on the side of the scale, not the shopper. And finally, in first place, prepackaged deli turkey slices deliver a health risk that no amount of lean branding can hide. A landmark JAMA study tracked over 200,000 adults for 12 years and found that eating just 2 servings a week of these turkey slices was linked to a 50% higher risk of dying from heart disease. That's a hazard ratio of 1.50 with a confidence interval from 1.28 to 1.75, numbers that held steady even after adjusting for age, weight, and sodium intake. The culprit isn't just the turkey itself, but the ingredient cocktail engineered into every slice. Take Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh as a prime example. Turkey, water, sodium phosphates, sodium nitrite, corn syrup, and natural flavors. Sodium phosphate acts as a water binder, inflating the weight and boosting the sodium load to more than 400 milligrams per slice. Nitrite preserves the color, while corn syrup and natural flavors round out the artificial taste. Unlike whole muscle deli cuts, these slices are formed from ground and emulsified meat, pressed into uniform sheets, and sliced to perfection for shelf life, not for health. The science is clear. The more you eat, the greater your cardiovascular risk. When a product marketed as healthy lands at the very top of the danger list, it's time for a new rule. Here's what actually qualifies as real meat. 5 ingredients or fewer, whole cut listed first, no caramel color, and no phosphates. Number 3, whole muscle chicken breast from the deli counter is the gold standard for real meat. There is no ingredient sleight of hand here, just chicken breast sliced directly from a single recognizable cut. When you pick up a package from brands like McLean Organic, the label says exactly what you would expect: chicken breast. No phosphates, no nitrites, no added water, and 0 synthetic preservatives. The muscle fibers are visible, the grain runs naturally, and each slice tears along real meat lines, not the perfectly smooth sheets you find in formed or emulsified products. Some versions add a pinch of sea salt, but the ingredient list never creeps past 5 items. This is where the difference becomes obvious. Instead of a product engineered for shelf life and yield, you are getting actual meat, unmasked by caramel color or chemical binders. For anyone who wants a deli option that is as close to home cooked as possible, whole muscle chicken breast is the benchmark. The practical rule: if the label lists only chicken breast and maybe salt, you are in the clear. Number 2, fresh sliced roast beef from the deli counter stands as the clean label red meat alternative that breaks the pattern set by most supermarket deli cases. Instead of a mystery blend or a chemically cured loaf, this is beef in its most recognizable form, whole muscle, roasted, and sliced without disguise. Brands like Applegate set the standard. The ingredient list reads simply: beef, sea salt, black pepper, and natural flavor. There is no sodium nitrite, no BHA or BHT, and no artificial coloring. The USDA recognizes fresh roast beef as a product made from a single cut, not a restructured or emulsified blend. That means each slice reveals the natural grain of the muscle with visible fibers and a hearty bite that formed meats cannot fake. The difference is more than cosmetic. Chemical cures and phosphates are nowhere to be found, replaced by a light seasoning that lets the meat speak for itself. For anyone seeking a red meat option without the baggage of industrial preservatives, this is the benchmark. The practical takeaway: if the label lists only whole beef and a few spices, you are holding the real thing. And finally, in first place, Fresh sliced turkey breast from the deli counter stands as the ultimate real meat swap. This is turkey in its purest form, a whole muscle cut, not a molded slab or a water-inflated loaf. The ingredient label tells the story. Look for brands like Trader Joe's or True Story, where the list reads simply, turkey breast, sea salt, black pepper, no phosphates, no nitrites, no preservatives, and no hidden water beyond what's naturally in the muscle, always less than 2%. Each slice reveals visible fibers and grain, the unmistakable sign of actual turkey breast. The difference is immediate. The flavor is clean, the texture is naturally tender, and you're not paying for fillers or chemical binders. Certified no additives labels back it up, with nothing but straightforward seasoning. For shoppers tired of ingredient lists that read like chemistry sets, this is the Deli Case's most reliable high-protein, low-additive choice. The rule is simple: 5 ingredients or fewer, whole cut first, no caramel color, and never any phosphates. When the label matches that formula, you're holding real meat, not an imitation. Across all these deli meats, one pattern stands out. If you can't see the grain or pronounce the ingredients, you're not buying real meat. Chemistry is masquerading as protein, and labels are designed to distract. The smart rule: 5 ingredients or fewer, whole cut first. Know what you're really eating.